Hey everybody, this is Jason from the Landlord Launch, where we help landlords self-manage their property through resources, through educational content, and on-demand training videos, a whole slew of things. And today what we're going to be talking about is, it was a question that we actually received. It's about withholding rent. And basically what happened is the question was, my tenant said that they paid to have trees cut back out of their yard and they're going to short the rent $200. Can they do that? Generally speaking, no, they can't. If you didn't give written permission, they didn't give you a chance to deal with the situation or evaluate it and those types of things, no, they can't. Now, there may be, in some states, depending where you're at, there may be, provisions and clauses, at the state level that, have some ways that we're talking about rent abatement stuff. But even with the rent abatement stuff, withholding money for maintenance, there's usually a notice required of some sort or another, giving the landlord so many days to repair this issue, or that the tenant will do it and pay for those as well. There's specific things you got to do. So if it's just out of nowhere, you have no notice, didn't know anything about it, and they just decided they're going to hold $200 out for rent because they did this, that, or the other, then I would say, generally speaking, they can't do that. Now, the next step then is if they refuse to pay that rent, if that is truly the situation, and now their rent is short $200, what do you do? Well, if you decide you're going to enforce it, basically what that looks like is they are now $200 short on their rent, and you need to start in with the collections and the notice to pay or quit process, which is the first step in the eviction process. Hopefully this isn't a recurring issue, but 10 to 1, if the tenant is pulling something like this, then there's probably more going on than just this one situation. My guess is they're probably difficult in general. You've probably had some other problems with it. Again, I'm generalizing, of course. Maybe that's not the case at all. But at that point, I think you need to make a decision on whether or not you want to pursue that as eviction over the $200. It may be something to where you give them a written statement saying, okay, I'm going to let this slide this one time, but next time these are the steps that you need to take. And that would be for tenants, I think, that have generally been good tenants, that are usually on time with the rent, that you haven't had issues. But if it is a difficult tenant, if it's somebody that's giving you other problems, they're likely to give you other similar problems like this in the future. And I would say that 9 times out of 10, they're going to end up costing you more than they're worth. So you either need to probably get them in line or move them on. And by getting them in line, I mean, generally speaking, moving on with the eviction process, giving your notice to quit, whether that's your 3-day, 5-day, 7-day, whatever that is. Then if they still don't pay, proceeding with the eviction process. They are either going to apologize, pay the money, say it'll never happen again, or you'll take it to court, and ultimately you'll most likely get possession of the property back, because usually rent cases are pretty cut and dry. So that's how I would deal with that. Generally speaking, again, make sure you understand what the abatement laws are, the ability for the tenant to hold rent in lieu of maintenance in your state, in your jurisdiction, before you move to, because they are different. There's a lot of them out there. But again, just out of nowhere, that's usually not something that they can do. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, of course, make sure to leave questions below in the comment box. And that's what I have for this video. So we will see you next time.